Pokrovsk, in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk Oblast, was the backbone of Ukraine's defense, a logistics and command hub connecting the front lines. Its strategic location made it a lifeline for both military operations and civilian support, serving as a critical link between the embattled front and the rest of the country. Its railways and highways, especially the T0504 and E50, kept Ukrainian forces supplied and reinforced. These vital routes allowed for the rapid movement of troops, ammunition, and humanitarian aid, making Pokrovsk a logistical artery that Ukraine could not afford to lose. Losing Pokrovsk would risk encirclement and collapse of the entire sector. The city's fall would open the door for Russian advances deeper into Ukrainian-held territory, threatening to unravel months of hard-fought defensive gains. For months, Russian forces battered the area, slowly capturing villages and wearing down defenses. Each day brought new destruction as artillery and ground assaults pushed Ukrainian defenders to their limits. The fighting was a brutal grind, with advances measured in meters. Soldiers endured relentless shelling, mud, and exhaustion as both sides struggled for every inch of ground in a landscape scarred by war. Analysts expected this slow pace to continue until a sudden, shocking breakthrough changed everything. The front, once static, was about to shift in ways few had predicted, catching many by surprise. Russian units, after months of attrition, were setting the stage for a bold, unconventional assault. Their preparations hinted at a new strategy, one that would test the resilience and adaptability of Ukrainian defenses. Ukraine's command, stretched thin, was focused on plugging gaps in a conventional fight, unaware of the deeper threat about to emerge. As the situation grew more desperate, the fate of Pokrovsk, and perhaps the entire region, hung in the balance. In early August 2025, the battle for Pokrovsk transformed overnight, catching many by surprise and marking a pivotal moment in the conflict. Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups, known as DRGs, slipped deep behind Ukrainian lines under the cover of darkness, bypassing heavily fortified positions and sowing chaos wherever they went. Within just 48 hours, Russian patrols began appearing in villages that had previously been considered safe, dissolving the established front line and plunging the region into confusion and uncertainty. Ukrainian forces, heavily reliant on drone surveillance and digital intelligence, were caught off guard by these stealthy, highly mobile units that seemed to appear out of nowhere. The psychological impact was immediate and severe. Supply lines were cut, flanks left dangerously exposed, and units forced to retreat from positions they thought were secure. Encirclement became a real and terrifying threat, as Ukrainian troops found themselves isolated and surrounded in pockets throughout the city. Russia's strategy shifted rapidly from a direct frontal assault to collapsing Ukraine's defense from within. DRGs ambushed convoys and command posts, eventually reaching central Pokrovsk itself, turning the heart of the city into a deadly trap for defenders and civilians alike. The offensive was as much about shock, confusion, and disruption as it was about territorial gain, leaving the city in chaos. Pokrovsk was now under attack from both outside and within, its fate hanging in the balance as the battle raged on. Russia's breakthrough was no accident. It was a masterclass in modern infiltration tactics. DRG units used anti-thermal cloaks to evade drone detection, moving at night as near-invisible ghosts. They traveled light, relying on drone supply drops for ammunition and essentials, allowing them to operate deep behind enemy lines. Small fire teams moved through riverbeds and forests, avoiding roads and checkpoints. This decentralized, stealthy approach made them nearly impossible to track or stop. Traditional methods of spotting enemy advances, columns, radio chatter, were useless. Russia blended low-tech stealth with high-tech logistics, achieving total surprise. The battlefield had changed. The enemy could now appear anywhere, anytime. The sudden Russian infiltration threw Ukrainian defenses into chaos, shattering the fragile stability along the front lines. Ukrainian troops scrambled to regroup as positions fell and confusion spread across the battlefield. With the front collapsing rapidly, elite units like the Azov Brigade and the 82nd Air Assault were rushed in as reinforcements, tasked with containing the breach and preventing a total rout. Their urgent mission: establish new defensive lines, secure vulnerable areas, and hunt down infiltrators before the entire sector could collapse under pressure. Fierce, chaotic fighting erupted in the villages, with Ukrainian forces battling to regain control of streets now crawling with Russian DRGs. Every block became a deadly contest for survival. Combat reports and intercepted communications revealed just how deep the Russians had penetrated, exposing vulnerabilities in Ukraine's defensive network. Ukraine's rapid response showed remarkable resilience, but it came at a high cost. Elite units risked being overwhelmed, and other sectors were left dangerously exposed as resources were stretched thin. Losses mounted on both sides as the battle raged for control of key roads and vital supply routes, with each side desperate to secure the lifelines that could decide the outcome. The situation remained perilous and tense, with Pocrusk at risk of encirclement, its fate hanging in the balance as Ukrainian forces fought to hold the line. The Pokrovsk breakthrough shocked military observers worldwide, proving that surprise and deception still trump technology. Russia's stealthy, drone-supplied infantry shattered the illusion of a stable front. Ukrainian counterattacks slowed the advance, but Russian forces held new ground and threatened vital supply routes. The front line became a chaotic, shifting zone, no longer a clear line on the map. The key lesson: adaptability is crucial. Russia's anti-thermal cloaks and drone logistics redefined infantry warfare. Ukraine's rapid response prevented total collapse, but the strategic initiative had shifted. Pokrovsk's fate remains uncertain, but the Ghost Offensive changed the war's mindset forever. In modern conflict, the greatest threat is often the one you never see coming.